I was talking to Minister Musa, former General Musa, and he was asking, well, what does tomorrow look like? And I indicated to him that we would be actually going to a church service, a Christian Reformed church service. And the head of the Christian Reformed Church, Nigeria, Reverend Magaji, has become a good friend, and he and I had never met in person, but we had met a number of times over Zoom. And we were going to the church, and Minister Musa said, where is it, and what's the name of it, and I may join you. Well, sure enough, he came. And I felt like that was a bit of a turning point. I hope it was a turning point. He ended up doing a number of interviews after the church service as well, where he reinforced this notion of this not just being hooligans and people that were out. He was calling them out with ill intent. He was calling them terrorists, and I think that's the appropriate language to be using. And no doubt, Nigeria is extremely complicated. There's a number of factors. I keep getting asked by the media, yeah, but this isn't just about religion. And as I actually said to a reporter yesterday, I said, could you tell me what conflict in the world is only about religion? Right? It's about power. It is about money. It's about a number of things that always are happening there. But I think some of my colleagues are denying the flip side of the coin when they say, well, this is just about herdsmen and property owners and conflict. Well, they are missing the other side of that coin, which is the religious motivation behind oftentimes those actions. And we have to acknowledge that. They haven't seemed to have been able to acknowledge that. I hope that they're able to come along and understand that and be able to acknowledge that. But you know, we saw the strike happen on Christmas Day. I kind of wondered to myself if they would have maybe delayed it a little bit because we were in country. I'm glad we didn't find out. But we still saw, however, attacks afterwards, and we know that this has not been fixed. Now, I'm not anticipating that this is a just flip a switch kind of moment, but we have to see a commitment, not just words, out of the Tinubu government. We have to see actions. As part of our meetings that we had there, we met with the governor of Plateau State as well, and heard his perspective about some legislative actions that were going on about the debate about whether states should have their own police force as well versus just relying on a national police force that oftentimes isn't as responsive as it needs to be. The debate about whether others besides the Fulani who should be able to have weapons for self-defense. There's a number of debates.
So his own team, they met with Ribadu, Musa, and his own impression was that as that meeting was supposed to be like productive, that in that meeting, Musa actually referred to these people, these killers, as terrorists. Okay, so they are not herdsmen and all of that. So the other part of the political divide in America, who seems to be opposing the action of the U.S. against these terrorists in Nigeria, or even against the Nigerian government, are not seeing it kind of like clearly that, yeah, there may be the resource part, the resources part, the mineral resources part. There is also a part which is the motivation, religion. So it may be all multifaceted. Muslims are being killed, Christians are being killed. Who are those killing them? Of course, they should be identified. We know them, we have identified them. So what should then happen is that everyone should collaborate together and get rid of them. So according to him, you see, the American government, yes, I mean, you know, sort of like bombed these terrorists in Sokoto. But that's just like a flipper switch, like he said, because there have been several attacks after that, like more attacks, which means nothing has really changed. If everyone is being kind of like truthful, people are still being killed, kidnapped in all of these areas. that are under review already. So it's not what you say, it is actually what you do, right? We tell if you are really dealing with this or not. So they have the impression that the Nigerian government doesn't have the intention of ending the killings. That's what their conclusion. There are more, or there is more. Watch the rest of his own charts.
For self-defense. There's a number of debates that are happening within Nigeria, and I'll let the Nigerians sort through that, but I believe one of my job and one of our jobs writ large here is to check in, make sure that they know that we are watching, we are paying attention, we are taking this serious, and we need to see serious actions on their part as well. Part of that was Chairman Smith's resolution that I'm proud to co-lead that really confirmed the President's CPC designation. It calls out the Fulani Herdsmen Association and some other organizations like that who I believe meet the criteria for being sanctioned, for having some tougher scrutiny put to them. But we know that there's a long ways to go on Nigeria. Just pleased to be a part of hopefully what is going to be a solution. I'm just pleased to see the U.S. government and the President and Congress rising up and saying this isn't acceptable. And I've said this before in some interviews. We cannot allow another Rwanda to potentially happen. And what happens when we wake up one day and that is the case? We would have nobody to blame but ourselves. So this is, I believe, the proper actions. And I think I also was asked yesterday by this reporter, well, what was the message that you wanted sent when you were there? First and foremost, it was, hey, we are watching. And I can tell you, showing up that close to Christmas, there was a number of people that ended up coming back to Abuja because they understood that we were serious when we were showing up and asking for meetings on December 20 and December 21, the week of Christmas. That sent a message in and of itself. But two, we wanted to let them know that, look, the CPC designation is not a permanent mark. This is something you can earn your way off of. This is a list you can get off of as long as you are doing the proper actions to get off of that list. And I think the other message was an understanding of how important Nigeria is, not just to the success of West Africa, but to the success of all of Africa and by extension the entire world. With the largest economy on the continent, largest population, the potential that is there, and one of my direct messages was, you talk about the United States and sort of how we all came together. That was one of the discussion points. One of those things that allowed us to be successful is stability, and right now Nigeria is not stable, and it is the government's job to make sure that that stability comes along. And we can be there to help. I think I retweeted this yesterday. There was a military transport that had landed with some equipment and some things to help. We want to make sure it's more than just military equipment. That is not going to do it. You have to have the will to change what is happening. And it was a reasonably productive conversation, but as I've said before, actions speak louder than words. And we are going to be watching very closely the actions of the Tinubu government and others to make sure that they are following through on what they say is their goals and objectives. So that's a little bit of the update from our trip. It's hard to believe it was less than a month ago. It seemed like it was January's been a long year, right? There's been a lot that's happened already this year in 13, 14 days. But again, I just want to say thank you for what your work is and what you are doing. This is important to make sure that you are lending a voice to those that oftentimes don't have a voice, and that's a godly goal. So, congratulations on that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, just for easy digestion, those of you who watched all of that, what he practically said was that giving Nigeria weapons, okay, is not enough. The American must actually make sure they push for the will to use the weapon against the terrorist. There is also the conversation around, should the people of Middle Belt be harmed in an arrangement that could actually come with all of this too. Yeah. And I know that the idea in a country like Nigeria, where they have intentionally disarmed the citizens, but currently allow the terrorists to roam about with AK-47 guns and other kind of like war weapons. So the idea of America shipping all the American guns to arm the people of Middle Belt of Nigeria to defend themselves, or just pressure the government of Nigeria to use the weapons they have given to them. Like, for real, go after these terrorists that people won't need to arm themselves. So all this conversation is ongoing. So these are part of things that could actually really happen in this 2026 as some of the shockers that they will say, oh, like play, oh. The people of Middle Belt in Nigeria, they have become so kind of like fortified. They are the only people allowed. They can twist the government of Nigeria enough that, your National Assembly will actually enact a law that says, yeah, they could, for under this certain arrangement. Just so you know. Or somebody who happened to be a former special advisor to the governor of Benue State on infrastructure, something. His name is Frank Uto, right? He was also present in that hearing. I wanted to hear his own presentation. And this is a survivor from the hands of this armed Fulani terrorist. And people like himself, hundreds and thousands more, have had all of their stories shared, documented physically and in the other written forms. So all of these are what Nigeria needs to actually debunk. And I don't think $9 million is going to be enough to do that. Meanwhile, they don't even have to spend $9 million. If they decided to actually go after the terrorist and their sponsor, that would save them a lot of money. But no, they are doing everything to change the narrative. They are doing everything to probably like gloss over it, distract people, and again, continue to look for the validation from abroad. Do you know what I saw today? I'm going to show you that clip now anyway, but do you see what I saw today? While American government yesterday announced that they have restricted visa issuance to all of these countries, including Nigeria. Just last week, America said they are now going to put a bond on visa applicants from Nigeria, $15,000 or something, visa bond, right? Then yesterday they said, oh, no, they've added Nigeria to the restricted countries where they're not going to give anybody visas, right? Right. Then today, European Union, Abi, who be these ones? European Union removes Nigeria, South Africa, and 4 others from high-risk countries. So they are shopping for validation all over the world. They are spending money here and there to see if they could actually get, because they understand what damages this means for Nigeria. They've messed up. And now that they've been so exposed, right, rather than for them to go on and do the right thing, they are shopping for validation all over the world to say, no, what you think you're hearing is not like that. Donald Trump is just somebody who is so, is a bully. That is what is going on. The blah, the blah. They want that to be the narrative, and they are spending so much money. But to those of you who are probably following all of that, I need you to remember that this is not a made-up story. There are victims, documented victims, interviewed victims, survivors who survived this whole thing. And here is one of them, Frank Uto. I don't know if I pronounced that right, though.
Appreciate your role.
Hang on, I'm so sorry. I wanted to say happy birthday to Iruk. So Iruk, happy birthday to you, sir, right? I'm coming back, though. Let's watch this.
Appreciate your role and your voice as well. As you see, people are coming and going, congressmen coming and going. We have invited and expected Senator Cruz to be here, along with Representative Ron Moore and Chris Smith. We've been informed that they probably are not going to make it. They haven't made it already, so they apologize. But they have great staff. You can reach out to them. If you need context, we'll help you with that. They listen and they relate everything you're sharing to them, and they want to hear what's going on. Especially now, as Commissioner Person has mentioned, we're weighting the recommendations to the Nigerian government based on the CPC designation. So there's still time. We believe this week, maybe early next week, they're going to make critical decisions on what's happening next in Nigeria. So appreciate that. Next, we're going to have a human rights lawyer, voice, advocate, nonprofit leader from Yelwata, Benue State, Frank Uto. He's a direct survivor of the Yelwata attacks against Christians, late son of the village head. He combines his lived experience with expertise in law, governance, civil society, served on the board with the governor of Benue State. He has a recent master's degree from Central Oklahoma, as well as attending Northumbria University in the UK. His Catholic faith compels him to advocate globally for human rights and action to stop atrocities.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Equipping the Persecuted, Truth Nigeria. Thank you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frank Uto. I'm a lawyer. I'm a policy advocate, peace advocate. I'm a politician in Nigeria. I served as the Principal Special Assistant PSA to the Governor of Benue State between 2020 and 2023. So I've been involved in government. I come from the epicenter of the genocide of Christians in Nigeria because I'm one of the biggest victims. My tribe is called the Tiv ethnic group from Benue State. We are the biggest ethnic group of the Christian faith in the middle belt of Nigeria and in the entire northern part of Nigeria. We're the fourth biggest monolithic ethnic group in Nigeria, the Tiv race of Benue State. And this is our traditional color, the zebra color, and it is called Ange. It is spelled exactly the way you spelled anger. That is the mood of our people right now, anger. And when you put D before the anger, it becomes danger. That is exactly what we're facing. We're facing existential threat in the hands of Fulani ethnic militia who have committed themselves to wipe our people off the face of the earth. They started this journey in 1804 when they staged the jihad of Madame Fodio, and in their quest to progress southwards of Nigeria, our people, the Tiv ethnic group, stopped their progression. So they want to continue from where Madame Fodio stopped, because their mission is to dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. And of course, you know, by the time they conquer Nigeria, the United States stands at risk because they'll be in charge of the coastal region of Nigeria, the oil of Nigeria, and across the Atlantic stands the United States. So the ethnic group that stands before these guys and the United States is the Tiv ethnic group principally, and the ethnic groups, the Christian ethnic groups in the middle belt of Nigeria, in the states of Benue, the states of Plateau, the states of Nasarawa, Southern Kaduna, Taraba, and the Christian minorities in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Sokoto, in Niger State. So today you'll be hearing directly from a witness, from a survivor, and of course it hurts me very deeply. It is heart-wrenching when this story, when I hear Americans begin to give two different sides to our story. Our story has just one side: genocide. Genocide. Our story has just one side. And let me give you, I'm going to speak, I'll be speaking for the next 3 minutes, and let me give you a graphic example. On September 11, 2001, the 911 attack, 4 planes were hijacked. United Airlines and American Airlines, and rammed into the towers. The people who hijacked, the 19 guys who hijacked this aircraft were Arab Muslims of the Al-Qaeda group. But when they rammed these planes into these buildings, amongst their victims were also Arabs in those buildings, in the Twin Towers. Were also Arabs. But does it mean that it was a clash between American and Arabs? No, it was a direct attack on Americans. Some Arabs may be collateral damage. That was
their story. So Iruk, thank you very much for that. We should probably be the ones giving you gifts on your birthday, right? So many happy returns, Baba. Enjoy the day.